I really appreciate musicians that have a deep appreciation for the history of music. You know who's great about that? Henry Rollins. He has this incredible stereo system in his house, this amazing collection of records. And when I talk to him about his love of music and love of collecting records, and just a fucking excitement in his voice and his passion in his eyes, the way he describes these things. He loves music so much. It's so infectious.
It's infectious. It's also a beautiful historical subject to spend your life studying.
Wow. Well, you're in it, right? You are a musician, but to someone observing it from the outside like myself, it's one of the more fascinating aspects of human culture is that people create sounds and you create them with lyrics, and you put it together in this way that literally acts as a drug. Like it makes people feel good. There's something about that. There's something about it. Like when a song comes on that you haven't heard in a long time, you know, like Midnight Rider, the Allman Brothers. Like the beginning, you're like, holy shit, that fucking song. Woo! You get, it's a drug.
Yes.
It's a drug.
Well, literally, your brain is releasing its serotonin.
Yes. There's something that we've come to expect because it's a normal part of life. We all listen to music, but there's moments where you can just step outside of it and realize like how amazing the creation of music is. It's so amazing.
That's why I became a musician, because of the high that I got from listening to Henry Rollins, Black Flag, drinking black coffee. Made me feel so alive, so full of everything, so drugged up. I want to make people feel like that. Defunct made me dance like lightning bolts on the dance floor. I want to make people feel like that. That was my number one motivation. And the love of my found family. I heard The Message by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. And I just wanted to roll down the street lighter than air. How do I make people feel like that? How can I be a part of something that makes people feel like floating down the street?
It's a drug. It really is. It's a super positive, creative drug that makes you incredibly connected to the people that make it. I was watching the Elvis movie. His music, it's like, and everybody's like, what the fuck is going on? It's like they're all on drugs. Like all these women are on drugs. They're screaming, they're throwing panties at him. And back then, there wasn't really someone like him before him. You know, so he comes around and they all freak out because it's a new drug. It's this new feeling that you get from this creation, this combination of artists and music and sounds delivered by this one guy. And he's saying, you ain't nothing but a hound dog. And they're all going,
That's what I have been.
Wild!
It took me so long to realize how good he was, but as far as like borrowing and using culture that you love, which, you know, can be construed as appropriation, I'm all for it. I want to be appropriated, and I think that's what culture is for. Enjoying and loving and learning and taking and assimilating.
Yeah, it should be that.
Yeah, it should be that. I want to dress like you because you look great.
I mean, it should be that with art, with food, with everything. With architecture.
Appropriate on.
Literally, we are building on the backs of the people that came before us. All of us are. In everything we do. In the way we talk. In literature. In everything. We build upon the people that came before. And this idea of cultural appropriation being a negative thing, to me, is preposterous. It's a respect. You don't culturally appropriate things that you don't love.
It's a love.
You love those things, you know?
Yes.
If you're cooking Mexican food and you happen to be Dutch, like who gives a shit, man?
Yeah,
architecture.
appropriate on.
I mean, it should be that with art, with food, with everything. Holy shit. That song.
Yeah,
architecture.
appropriate on.
Woo! You get, it's a drug.
Yes.
It's a drug.
Well, literally. And I just wanted to roll down the street lighter than air.
Like the beginning, that song, that fucking song. Woo! People feel good. A super positive, creative drug that makes you feel good. That song, that fucking song. Woo! It's a drug.
Well, literally.
Makes people feel good. Woo! It's a drug.
Yes.
Feel good. Woo!
Literally, people feel like floating down the street.
That song, that fucking song.
Woo!
And you put it together in this way that literally acts as a drug. Makes people feel good.
How do I make people feel like that?